Thank you. That is 3 in favor and 8 opposed. That motion's defeated.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode. I have something really interesting to show you today. As you know, the Waterloo District School Board Trustees have not been voting as they should have been in terms of parental rights and protecting children. As a matter of fact, I have the video up with their recent vote where they should be limiting and adding filters to their online libraries so that younger students can't access. And of course, they voted against this because their logic is that students should not be limited and books should not be banned, and that all students, that means age 4 and up, should have access to these online library books. So they voted accordingly, and as you know, the books that I've read at the school board, I also found these books in the online library, and I accessed these books through my 7-year-old daughter's account. Now they just voted on something new, a motion put out by Cindy Watson. She said that, it's the parents' rights to be part of their children's lives, and it's the parents' right to be included in conversation and education. Now, I'm going to let you see for yourself what the motion is exactly for, and then you're going to see all the trustees, 8-3, voting against parental rights. Now, at this point, I don't know what to tell you, but it looks like the trustees are not interested in limiting the sexual content made available by kids, and they're also not interested in making parents part of the conversation. They might say all the right things, they might say that they're interested, but at the end of the day, it's their actions that count and it's their votes that count. Without further ado, have a look at the video yourself and let me know what you think.
Okay. There is a motion on folio 39, letter concerning parent rights. Trustee Watson, would you like to move your motion? Okay, seconded by Trustee Ramsay. Okay, would you like to speak to it first, Trustee Watson?
Thank you. Yes. The Ministry of Education promised parents a Bill of Rights, and it's time to deliver. Like no other time, many parents feel detached from public education as well as their child's educational experience. We see various examples of parents choosing to homeschool. Parents have chosen to move their child to a private school. Other parents have banded together to create micro schools. And some parents have decided that they don't even want to live in Canada. Some parents have chosen to stay and stand up for their rights, and they're not going to stop. The parental rights protest for children was a demonstration of parents and community members who feel shut out of their child's education, with nowhere to turn but the provincial government. Why have so many parents united with a single purpose? Because they believed they could make a difference for their children. They went to the provincial government looking for help because they believed if anyone is going to help them, it will be the provincial government. In the last 5 years, parental involvement has been quickly eroding. And after COVID, many parents feel like unwanted guests at publicly funded schools. Many parents do not want their children inundated with ideologies and identity politics that aren't age appropriate for their children or that don't align with their personal or religious beliefs. Many parents believe their children are being indoctrinated, and according to an article, it states the Ontario Premier Doug Ford opined that teachers and school boards should not indoctrinate. Parents want to know what their parental rights are, or if they have any at all. And it's my belief that it is only the provincial government that can answer that question for them. Legally, according to the Child, Youth and Family Services Act and the Family Law Act, parents are responsible for providing necessities, which would be parents are responsible for providing their children with necessities such as food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. This obligation is known as a duty of support. They are to provide protection. Parents have a duty to protect their children from harm, abuse, or neglect. This includes protecting their physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. And financial support. Parents are responsible for financially supporting their children until they reach the age of majority or become financially independent. It's time to start listening to parents. Sending out broad, one-sided questions for a STRAT plan is not meaningful consultation. and it has nothing to do with including parents in decision-making at all. The provincial government needs to consult with parents. In fact, this should be happening on a regular basis to ensure parental concerns are heard and addressed in a timely fashion. I've never seen so much turmoil, and I've never heard so many complaints from parents, and yet nothing seems to change. I bring the same concerns to this table, but nothing changes. So it's time to call on the Ministry of Education to consult with parents and allow parents a seat at their table to ensure that parental concerns are addressed. Parents need to know their rights, and they need to be an active participant in their child's education. And they deserve to be treated as one of the most important, consistent persons in their child's education. They should have the right to decide what is age appropriate for their own child. This is the perfect time for us as a board to show parents and guardians that we do believe that they should have a Bill of Rights, and those rights should come from the provincial government. Identity politics and ideologies have taken center stage in public education and polarized students, parents, staff, and community members. The Parent Bill of Rights would help instill parental confidence in public education and create a balance that is desperately needed. This current government promised a Bill of Rights, and they should follow through with that, what they promised. Parents deserve to know where they stand, and they deserve to be told up front what their rights are, or if they have rights at all. Enough is enough. Parents have been told at the local level that even though they don't feel some of the teaching or ideologies are age appropriate, or that they don't align with their beliefs, they are not receiving information about that teaching, and they're not going to receive a religious accommodation, even though that policy came from the Ministry of Education and competing rights have not been addressed. It's time for the Ministry of Education to help parents understand what their rights are, and those rights should be enshrined in legislation. If public education is to be strengthened, parents' rights need to be defined, and the only people that qualify to define parental rights is the Ministry of Education. So I would ask that trustees support this motion. It's just to write a letter and ask the Ministry of Education to fulfill their promise to have a Bill of Rights for parents.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I listen to the discussion around how the board is reaching out to parents, I couldn't help but start thinking about the 4,000 to 5,000 students in Waterloo region. Not all of them public school students, but the majority of them, some would be with the Catholic word, that are actually passing up on public education. So if we're doing such a bang-up job with respect to how we deal with parents, why? And for the parents and students that are listening, most of my colleagues are speaking to the parents and students that are watching online, it begs the question: if you have your children in our public schools, what's going on with your neighbors? 4,000 to 5,000 students in Waterloo region are being homeschooled or the equivalent of being educated in church basements. Not that there's anything wrong with church basements, but they're passing up a free education to go and pay for education. There's something fundamentally wrong. And for us to paper over this and to say we're doing such a bang-up job, that's just so concerning, and it is quite misleading. And it's for those reasons that will be strongly supporting the motion, and I'm hoping that my colleagues will have a change of heart and at least pass the decision on to the province, because we're refusing to make it. That we voted to support this motion. We're asking the province to actually clarify, to provide some clarification on something that they'd actually promised to do. So perhaps if the board got in line and to push this forward to them, perhaps we'll get some clarification, and it will prevent boards of education from coming into conflict with so many of our parent communities.
Okay, so we have the motion on folio 39 that has been moved and seconded, and it will be a recorded vote. Okay,
through the chair. So for the recorded vote, we'll start with Trustee Cody. Trustee Estoesta? Opposed. Trustee Johnson?
Opposed.
Trustee Meissner?
Opposed.
Trustee Piatkowski?
Opposed.
Trustee Radlein?
Opposed.
Trustee Ramsay,
In favor?
trustee Waseem,
Opposed?
trustee Watson,
In favor?
Chair Weston,
Opposed?
trustee Woodcock,
Opposed?
student trustee Awan.
Opposed.
Thank you. That is 3 in favor and 8 opposed. That motion's defeated.
I've decided to just open up this support thing called Coffee, where you can make a donation or a monthly subscription, just because I'm spending so much time on things and